What happens when the very thing you believe can buy you anything, ultimately purchases your own demise? This is the story of a billionaire who learned that lesson in the most fatal way imaginable. Amidst the elite circles of Japanese high society, the tale of Kosuke Nozaki was impossible to ignore. A self-made billionaire who built his empire from nothing, he was a man who once famously spent $20 million to be with 4,000 women. For him, wealth was more than power, it was a master key for every lock, unlocking fame, satiating desire, and even securing marriage. In his later years, Nozaki continued his pursuits, marrying a young, beautiful wife 55 years his junior, a former adult film star who had rebranded herself as a gentle, innocent model. Yet, just 3 months after the wedding, he was discovered dead in his mansion. What truly occurred? What secrets led to this tycoon's end? Join Crime Documentary Files as we delve into this mysterious case. At 10 p.m. on May 24, 2018, an emergency call alerted Japanese authorities to an unusual death. The caller reported that 77-year-old billionaire Kosuke Nozaki had died suddenly in his luxurious private home. Police swiftly descended on the property, cordoning off the entire area and initiating a thorough investigation. Forensic teams conducted a meticulous examination of the victim. Initial estimates placed the time of death between 7 o'clock and 10 p.m. that evening. While external inspection showed no wounds or violent marks, the autopsy revealed a shocking finding: a lethal concentration of stimulants was present in his system. The official cause of death was determined to be acute circulatory failure induced by the drugs. This discovery immediately raised alarms. Medical records and statements from associates confirmed Nozaki had no history of using any stimulants. A painstaking search of his home, office, and vehicle found no trace of the substances. With no history of use and no source for the toxins, investigators began to suspect a far more sinister scenario: premeditated murder. Only 2 individuals were inside the mansion at the time of death, making them the prime suspects. The first was the longtime butler, Takara, a man who had served the family faithfully for over 30 years after his own business went bankrupt. The second was Nozaki's wife, Saki Sudo. At just 22 years old, the 55-year age gap was so vast she could easily be mistaken for his granddaughter. Sudo's past was complex. Before her marriage, she was a professional model with a seductive figure and a noted career as an adult film actress. Hailing from a poor background, she presented a reserved image, but those who knew her described a contradictory lifestyle: promiscuous, heavily indulgent in alcohol, and possessing an immense desire for wealth, frequently visiting nightclubs. A young wife with a secret past, a loyal butler, and a billionaire with no enemies. From the outside, it looked like a perfect, if unusual, life. But underneath, a dangerous plot was unfolding. So, which of the 2 people he trusted most decided to betray him? When questioned about that night, Sudo provided a calm account. She stated she and Nozaki were relaxing in their second-floor bedroom, watching a sumo match. When the butler announced dinner, she went downstairs to eat alone, as Nozaki wished to stay and watch another match. After her meal, she remained on the first floor until 10 p.m., at which point she returned to the bedroom to find her husband unconscious and naked on the sofa. This timeline suggested Nozaki died alone on the second floor while Sudo was downstairs. Police initially considered suicide but quickly dismissed it. Nozaki was financially robust, worth hundreds of billions of yen, and had just married a beautiful young woman. His life appeared enviable, leaving no motive for him to take his own life. As the investigation deepened, a strange detail emerged. Just 18 days before Nozaki's death, his beloved pet dog had also died unexpectedly. Friends confirmed his deep affection for the dog. He had even declared he would leave a significant part of his fortune to it. To investigators, this was a red flag. If someone was targeting his wealth, the dog was an obstacle. However, a forensic examination of the dog's exhumed body found no traces of poison. Meanwhile, a review of the mansion's security footage showed no signs of an intruder around the time of the death. This reinforced the theory that the killer was already inside the house. 9:52 p.m., November 22, 2025, Sufyan CF. The critical question became, who benefited from Nozaki's death? Every clue pointed to the young wife, Sudo. Her behavior was suspicious on multiple fronts. After an initial display of panic, she became intensely focused on establishing her alibi. At Nozaki's funeral, she appeared cold and indifferent, playing games on her phone. Most damningly, she moved with astonishing speed to access his wealth, appointing herself chairman of his company, transferring over $300,000 into her personal account, and making plans to leave Japan. 9:52 p.m., November 22, 2025, Sufyan CF. Sudo insisted she was innocent, arguing that her husband's death was a financial loss. She revealed a marriage contract stipulating a monthly allowance of 1 million yen, about $6,700. With Nozaki alive, she stood to receive this steady income for years. His death, she claimed, severed that financial stream. But then a will surfaced. A supposedly handwritten document bequeathed Sudo 3.5 billion yen, roughly 70% of Nozaki's total $33 million estate. This revelation transformed the narrative entirely. The monthly allowance was insignificant compared to the massive inheritance she would receive as his widow. This case taps into a deep-seated fear: can you ever truly know the intentions of the people you let into your life? It forces us to question the authenticity of our relationships and wonder if trust can ever be blind. Confronted about the will, Sudo reacted with sarcastic defiance, asking if the police were accusing her of forgery. Despite the overwhelming circumstantial evidence, police lacked concrete proof. Sudo remained evasive during interrogations, and her lawyer fiercely defended her, pointing out the absence of direct evidence: no witnesses, no fingerprints, no record of her purchasing stimulants. Public and media pressure mounted, criticizing the police's inability to make an arrest. As the case stalled, the media unearthed the story of Nozaki's rise from poverty. Born in 1941 in Tanabe, Wakayama, he was the third of 7 children. His childhood was one of hardship, forcing him to leave school after middle school to work in a foundry. As a young man with no money or looks, he felt invisible to women. A pivotal moment in a bar showed him an unattractive man surrounded by beautiful women, all because he had money. This ignited Nozaki's determination to become wealthy at any cost. His first venture was selling condoms in entertainment districts, capitalizing on the embarrassment people felt buying them in pharmacies. The profits were immense compared to the average salary at the time. Unashamed of the trade, he amassed capital and moved into the stock market and, later, the high-stakes Tokyo real estate market, building a vast fortune across multiple industries. With wealth, he lived his dream, openly boasting about his encounters with 4,000 women and the $20 million he spent. He famously declared, "There's nothing money can't buy." His marriage to Sudo seemed to mark a change. He claimed he loved her for her purity, believing she cared for him, not his money. He confidently told magazines they would live happily ever after. But this fairy tale was a carefully constructed lie. Nozaki discovered that Sudo's past was fabricated, their chance meeting at the airport was staged, and she had lied about her career. The betrayal was absolute. The man who used money to buy love had been conned by a woman using feigned affection to steal his wealth. He decided to divorce her. It makes you wonder, in our own lives, are we ever truly loved for who we are, or for what we can provide? The fear of being used for our status or resources is a vulnerability this story exploits perfectly. Facing divorce and the loss of her luxurious life, Sudo's motive became clear. Police hypothesized she acted to secure the inheritance before Nozaki could change his will. She needed to become the wealthy widow, not the discarded ex-wife. The case broke open in 2020 from an unrelated drug bust. On a dealer's client list, police found Saki Sudo's name. This provided the first direct link between her and a source of illegal stimulants. A renewed search of the mansion using advanced equipment found traces of stimulants on the floors and inside a vacuum cleaner, indicating an attempt to clean the scene. The most damning evidence was on Pseudo's personal computer. Her search history in the weeks before the murder included terms like, how to kill someone without being detected, lethal dose of stimulants, and how to buy stimulants without a prescription. This was a blueprint for murder. On April 28, 2021, nearly 3 years after Kosuke Nozaki's death, Saki Pseudo was arrested. She was later charged with premeditated murder and violating stimulant control laws. Nozaki, who believed money was the ultimate key, never foresaw it unlocking his own destruction. His vast fortune and transactional relationships made him the perfect target. His death stands as a stark, expensive warning: money cannot always buy happiness, and sometimes, the power we think we wield is the very thing that leads to our downfall. And that's today's case. What are your thoughts on this billionaire's tragic story? Share your perspective in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.